Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live this evening in UFRL for the Tier 2 race. And tonight we are live at the Netherlands, Zandvoort, as we head through into the calendar. As you can see in the championship, Flynn leads the standing 17 points his advantage over Gandalf in second place. Destroyer Drac rising up the field now in the top three ahead of Kingy the King and Cannon. Again, similar to last week, those are your five key contenders for the championship this season, unless we get potentially someone pushing for it late on. But Taylor, last week's race winner on his debut, sadly not racing tonight, so that's potentially a miss in terms of who else could be a possible championship contender. It looks like the top five are your contenders. Mercedes lead the constructors. They have the advantage over the Visa RB, Alpine, Aston Martin and McLaren. Yes, all five teams separated by just 23 points ahead of this Grand Prix. And again, that's the combined standings between tiers 1, 2 and 3. So the fact you've got 23 points separating five teams is quite remarkable. Let's have a look then at what is occurring on track. And as you can see, it is raining here at Zandvoort as well. So the tricky conditions not going to be ideal for the drivers, as similar to last week, in fact, Silky Stevens, well, he's set for the intermediate tyres at this moment in time. Everyone else looking at full wet, so Silky Stevens must love a good intermediate tyre, you'd imagine. We are live across both platforms, Twitch and TikTok this evening. As King Kong said, good luck tonight. Oh, yes, indeed. Especially in these conditions. My favourite type of weather, says Kesonator. This is going to be very exciting, says Coffee, at your home track, of course. I bet you'd love to be out there on the circuit. Either way, you get to watch it. So it should be good. Let's see then, as a few drivers are out on circuit. Shazam, Flynn, and ARC Mickey as well. Got a quaddy ban. Oh no, you've got a quaddy ban. And you're still looking at the intermediates, yet you're on a quaddy ban. That's how much you love the intermediates. You can't go on track, but if you had a choice of picking a tyre, you'd pick the intermediates. I just imagine in a five lap on a dry race, you'll pit lap one for dry tyre, for the intermediates, sorry. You'll get rid of the softs, go for inters. Right, let's see what ARC Mickey is going to do in his first run. I'm going to drive it myself actually on December the 7th. December the 7th? As in... Oh, have we got Zandvoort in a few weeks' time? Oh, real life! Wow! Nice, nice, nice. Hope everyone keeps it clean this race. Yes, indeed, Kesonator. And I love them, mate. Just a master with them. Yes, could tell last week. As our deck says up Lahas as well. ARC Mickey then just round the bend at turn 1. We'll see what he can do on his opening lap on the full wets. Again, very similar to last time around at Miami. Flynn and Woody both out. Both out? Why are they both... Wait, has one of them got... None of them's got a quaddy ban, I'm sure about that. What's happened here then? Why have they both decided to do it? Because you can't both take engine penalties. I hope they do know that, right? Yeah, you can't both take engine penalties, so I don't really know why they've both decided to retire. So Haas have kind of messed it up really for Woody, sadly. Woody's going to be starting at the back, but he's not serving an engine penalty because he can't, because his teammate's serving it. So, big error there for Haas. It's a massive blunder. That's probably more of a blunder than what we see with Williams in the pit stops last week in the 100% tier. There you go. The new blunder for this season is Haas. Woody and Flynn both trying to take their engine penalties on the same race, which you can't do. We're just going to stick with ARC Mickey then. Woody crashed in the pit lane. Hello to Missile Wister. Hope you're doing well. That's ARC Mickey. Let's see what his lap's going to be. 1:34.7 for him. just drop down to a few other drivers who are on laps as well. Shazam just about to get to the line. 25-3, that's more like it. Shazam, ARC Mickey obviously not pushing in on that opening run. Destroyer Drac, yet to see what he's going to post, of course, just went through Sector 1. Got Angry Badger close behind him. What about the two Aston Martins, Jar Jar Bing and also Boy Knockout? Let's go to the first of the Aston Martins then. Jar Jar Bing, of course, won 4 Grand Prix in a row in Tier 3 before making the promotion up to Tier 2 this season. Boy Knockout 25-3. And let's go to his teammate then, Jar Jar. How is he going to feel going into this one? For him, it's a 24-4, so much faster than the rest of the pack at the moment. What about Gandalf? It's a 23-9. Again, the drivers just seem to be improving at this moment in time. Back towards Destroyer Drac as well. Sad to hear about Flynn. Well, it's just an engine penalty. You have to serve 1 per season. Destroyer Drac 23-6. So an engine penalty means you start last. But sadly, Haas have kind of, I'm not going to say the word I was thinking of, but they've sort of messed it up a little bit, haven't they? Disqualify Haas from the championship, yes. It's ARC Mickey 23-0. There you go, that's more like it from Mickey. And he's now ahead of Angry Badger, who's gone second fastest himself. That's a brilliant effort from the Ferrari. To be ahead of some of the drivers who's just behind him is pretty impressive. Havoc Connor, the only one alongside Cannon then, yet to set a time, although Parkour also. Has Parkour got a quali ban, or is Parkour just wanting to start at the back? It's been such a long time now that she got her bans. She might have a quali ban to serve, I genuinely can't remember. It's been that long. I feel like she'd served it before though. Either way, there you go. What did he span out? He didn't retire because of the end. Oh, really? Oh, it's your engine penalty. Okay, fair enough. Havoc Connor 23-6 goes third fastest. So we'll go and check on with Cannon as the other Mercedes of Gandalf just crossed the line as well. Should we actually check up with Drac, who is not improving? So Drac's going to go for another lap, 11 minutes to go, so plenty of time in what is a relatively short track as well here at Zandvoort. So would he spun out? Where on earth did he spin out? Because I don't even remember seeing him going on track. And when I looked on the track map, I saw 2 Haas cars in the garage, so I don't know. Interesting one, really. I might watch back the start of qualifying when I get a chance then, obviously later on. Destroyer Drac then, obviously P6. Let's go towards, as Cannon now goes fastest, 22-8. Shazam goes up to P6, is a 23-6 for him. And towards the 2 Aston Martins who have now dropped to the bottom. But Boy Knockout is up by 1.1 and is looking like he's going pretty quickly. As a support also from Taylor for Kingy on the TikTok as well. So a lot of support going in for drivers as Boy Knockout crosses the line 23-4, or 23-3 rather. Misread that completely. It is a P3 however for him. Havoc Connor across the line stays P6. I was going to go towards Jar Jar Bing. He has gone P6 now because Gandalf's 22-3 is enough to place him P1 ahead of Cannon. So a Mercedes 1 and 2. How long will that last? Because here comes Destroyer Drac to the line. A 22-3. He splits the 2 Mercedes and hovers in between a pair of them. What about Kingy the King? As the McLaren is also improving on this run. And Kingy the King goes P3 with a 22-5. As we see improvements going through. Angry Badger rising into the top 5 now. And the quickest ARC Mickey is a 22-0. And crashing out there is Havoc Connor. A penalty to Boy Knockout. Pot wash P8. So what on earth has happened there? I think I'm going to presume Havoc Connor has just lost the car. And Boy Knockout was an unfortunate casualty of that. Maybe. Again, I didn't see it, so I can't say what exactly has happened. It's just a guess. But sadly, Connor is out and Boy Knockout has received a penalty. Very unfortunate. As Destroyer Drac has also lost his wing. Got to be a bit careful because he's facing the wrong way as well. He needs to make sure he doesn't get disqualified. Yeah, best turn that car around. That's it. There you go. And back up and running. Let's have a look then what's going to happen here with Gandalf on this run. Gandalf across the line remains P2, will drop down again. Jar Jar heads into the pit, as does Boy Knockout, so both Aston Martins go in. Shazam gaining by 0.3 of a second through the first sector alone. Potwash losing time. King of the King going to close up again, but not going to improve. 23.4, showing up as a purple final sector. Into the pits goes Badger, as Mr. Potwash as well. He is going to pit as well. So everybody really looking to go into the pits now. ARC Mickey is next. What about Gandalf at sea? Is Gandalf a little bit tricky through into Sector 2 for him? With Cannon, though, has improved and gone second fastest. Within 1/10 of a second of ARC Mickey now, and Shazam up to 7th confirms Havoc Connor will start 11th place then. So the bottom 5 has been set. So we're effectively into a third and final qualifying session, if you think about it that way. We have got the top 10, but where will they start? That is going to be the next question. Unless someone gets disqualified, of course. Yes, Daniel. That is how you can join. The Discord has just been posted as well. Thank you to Mrs. P for that. So yes, that is how you join. Click the link, and that will get you into the Discord. We race Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays as well. 5 days per week. Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday are all pace-based. Of course, this is the middle tier, tier 2. And then on Friday night, we have the 100% realistic cars tier. And on Saturday evening as well, from 9 o'clock PM, so an hour later than all the other races. But on the Saturday, 9 o'clock PM, we have the international tier. Again, pretty much anyone can get involved in that. So yeah, that is how you join in. Let's go have a look back towards the Mercedes, but neither of them are improving. I get the impression that a lot of them are just going to take it easy on these runs. Some drivers looking at intermediates as well now. You've got Boy Knockout and Jar Jar, both Aston Martins there. Mr. Potwash, and also Cannon was actually looking at inters. Now he's gone away, but ARC Mickey is looking at the intermediates with Gandalf 22.0 currently on provisional pole. Someone check the Alpine and the Mercedes. Gonna guess you're on about both. Yeah, because they are 1, 2, 3, and 4. I see what you mean. Can't wait for tomorrow, says Kesonator as well. But yes, Mercedes and Alpine right there in the top 4 here in qualifying. And surprisingly, no Woody. No Woody in that top 4. Woody has been the strongest qualifier in Tier 2 this season. But that is not going to continue. King of the King goes quickest, 21.3. That was on older full wet tyres as well. So if he could do that on the full wets, you do get the feeling it's probably getting close to the point where intermediates are the best tyre. And that may very well be now. How much Silky Stevens would love to be on track right now, you can imagine. Call me crazy, but I would have started quali on the inters and just done back-to-back flyer laps the whole session. Yeah, see, that's how much you love the inters. There you go, you've proven my point. Thank you. No, I'm joking. Yeah, no, fair enough. I think, I don't know, the difference between inters and full wets on the game isn't too major. But if it is absolutely tipping it down of rain, and yes, obviously that's when full wets will be the most effective, but they're not going to be absolutely miles faster unless it is genuinely tipping it down. So we look, Jar Jar Bing just about to start his lap. Go back up towards the Alpines. Drac, he's not on a run. ARC Mickey is also about to start a lap. Back towards King of the King, then he's not on a run this occasion. He might actually be about to head into the pits, especially if he has got his brother Kingy OG talking to him. He might be saying, head into the pit, make sure you get a fresh set of tyres on. And there you go, that is what King of the King's going to do now. What it would probably also say is go for intermediates, because everyone else is pretty much going for intermediates. As our Jar Jar Bing is improving through Sector 1. Let's have a look. Angry Badger. He was improving, but he's gone into the pit, so that's also a threat from him feeling it is best to box. Destroyer Jack also heading into the pits again. He was also on an improvement, but decides pitting is the best option. So Mr. Potwash up by about 2 seconds through into the middle sector alone. Mr. Potwash to the line, it's a 20.5. That is quickest for the Ferrari. And we've got a potentially frantic final 3 minutes of qualifying here in Tier 2. Again, this is very similar to what happened at Miami last week. I can assure you, as Jar Jar Binks 20.4 goes quickest, I can assure you it is on dynamic weather. As ARC Mickey probably going to go quickest. Yes, he does, 20.1. So yeah, dynamic weather, but yet it's very similar here in qualifying to what we saw from Miami last week, where it did start in full wet conditions, although Silky Stevens would argue otherwise. And tonight, it's doing the same thing. Full wets to intermediates, although Silky Stevens will say otherwise. I will say it's intermediates throughout the session. I don't blame him, really. Gandalf improving by 0.8 of a second in our Sector 1, rather. So, it looks like he's on for a potentially strong lap. Let's see what he's going to do then, as there are a couple of cars just biding their time before starting their laps then. You probably get 1 or 2 runs to go, but let's see how much time is left. Just over 2 minutes. So for Gandalf, he'll be okay to get 2 runs in. 1.7 seconds he's improving by. The only issue with that is he will not have the battery for the next lap. So let's see. But let's keep on with Gandalf then for now. As our Ferrari just crossed the line there, it's Mr. Potwash. But can Gandalf go quicker than Mickey? As our chat continues to improve here in qualifying to the line, 19.5. What about our boy Knockout? Jar Jar Binks does not improve on his 20.4, but can go again. And boy Knockout goes quicker than Gandalf. It's only just, but he's done enough by less than 0.03 of a second. Cannon goes third fastest. Again, the times continue to ramp up here in quali. Badger, Drac and King of the King all on outlaps. Mr. Potwash is trying to push on then, not actually burning the battery, so has enough time as well to get to the line and start one final attempt. So with that in mind, we'll head down to Shazam, who is gaining by 0.6 of a second, now 1.6 seconds. So Shazam reserving from Tier 3 tonight, will qualify in the top 10. Can he even make it into the top 5? It will be mighty impressive from here. But everyone else is still going to go for one final run. Let's see what Shazam can do. He's got Ferrari close behind. That is going to be Mr. Potwash. But Shazam to the line. He goes P8. What about Potwash? It's quickest for Potwash. King of the King starts his next lap then. What about the 2 Mercedes? We've got 25 seconds to the line now. Gandalf will get through and go for the final run. He's not going to improve on this run, however. As our Jar Jar Binks does go up to 5th fastest. Destroyer Jack starts her lap as well. And we'll go towards Boy Knockout also starting a lap. And then you've got Cannon, who is also going to go and has just got enough time. He crossed the line with 3 seconds to go. And now the checkered flags are out. Angry Badger will be first to finish in qualifying. Badger up to 4th fastest. ARC Mickey remains P7. So he has not done enough, ARC Mickey. That's a bit of a surprise. What about Shazam then? He is going to be next as he enters through to the Sector 2 split. Shazam gaining by 0.2 of a second already. So let's see, where can Shazam push himself? Can he get ahead of ARC Mickey? The former Tier 1 and 2 champion, of course, in the Alpine. But what will Shazam do in this quali session? Just about getting his car to the line. Here we go. The Visa Cash App RB. Shazam across the line. He has not out-qualified ARC Mickey. King of the King massively improving. It's P2. Mr. Potwash is still on provisional pole. Gandalf then is also improving. Gandalf goes quickest. It's enough for him. Jar Jar P3. Destroyer Drac to the line. It's quickest for Drac. Drac takes it. Boy Knockout to the line now. Knockout goes third fastest. Final driver. Up steps Cannon. Has he got enough in his locker? It's P3 for Cannon. Destroyer Drac takes back-to-back pole positions. In very similar conditions, he has done the job again. And Destroyer Jack is beginning to look like a qualifying wizard. Wow, mighty impressive right at the death flare. I mean, if you thought Quaddy was massive, well that was also pretty much up there. And as you could see then, Destroyer Drac fending off the Mercedes pairing to take pole. Gandalf second, Cannon in P3. Boy, knockout. He qualifies 4th fastest. However, 5 pace penalty means he will drop down to P9. So Mr. Potwash, Jar Jar, Kingy, Badger and Mickey will all start ahead of Boy Knockout. P10 will be Shazam, P11 Connor, and then we've got Parkour, Woody, Flynn, and last of all, Silky Stevens. But Destroyer Jack is on pole position here at the Dutch Grand Prix. And now we look forward to the 5-minute break before heading into the main event, which will of course be the race, which is going to be set for a dry race, unless we're due for any rain in the race. But for now, I will be going on a couple of minutes for a break, and I'll be back in just a moment. Right, and we are back then. I'm just going to quickly give you guys a little glimpse back to the standings. So Flynn has, 42 points over tonight's pole sitter Destroyer Drac. I will mention Destroyer Drac has also served his engine penalty this season. Flynn is serving it tonight. So, can Drac close that 42-point gap? And obviously Gandalf in second place, 17 points adrift. He is starting in the top 3 as well. So, all to play for. King of the King and Cannon also both racing tonight. So that top 5 close together, 43 points separating them. And let's see what's going to happen tonight. So back to the main screen. And we are due to go at 8:30. So fingers crossed this can be a lovely race as well. Gotta say, it can't just be me. I'm looking at the screen and looking at the Haas and thinking, are they having a little party in the Haas garage or something? It looks like. Does it not look like they're having a little bit of a party in there? Where is everyone else's invite, Haas? That is absolutely rude. Woody, Flynn, Deck, I'm very disappointed in you guys. You haven't given anyone an invite to your party. You're clearly having a party. Look at the screen. There's no way they're not having a party out there. Look at that. Jeez. It's not particularly colourful, I have to say. But it's a bit of a party, isn't it? Right, so it is gone 8:30. So we are due to go now. And let's see how will this unfold. Fingers crossed it all goes well for the start as well. But again, that top 5 in the standings are the drivers that you're really looking out for tonight. You've got both Mercedes, you've got Destroyer Drac, you've got the championship leader Flynn, and you've got Kingy the King in the McLaren as well. So those 5 are your ones to watch, and we are about to go racing. Here we are in Tier 2. We are live from Zandvoort. 5 red light. It's go, go, go. A Destroyer Drac with a mighty getaway. Oh no, not quite so mighty. He's actually quite laggy from Drac, I've got to say. Very laggy from Destroyer Drac. I couldn't have seen more lag if I'd even tried. But Gandalf is just then behind him. Saying behind him, I don't really know if he's in behind him. It looks like he is. Mr. Potwash trying to go side by side with the Mercedes, and he got Cannon and King of the King. Little bit of contact between the pairing, but King of the King edges his car ahead. Hopefully Jack's connection can improve as the race goes on. He might need to have some sort of re-invitation back in because his car is going pretty wild out there, I've got to say. But Kingy the King currently just behind Mr. Potwash. Parkour dropping a few places now to P15. Side by side almost there. The McLaren, King of the King getting onto the curb. That gives Cannon a chance to draw alongside. They head up towards turn 11 now. Still side by side. Cannon onto the into the curb as the Aston Martin of Jar Jar flies in. It is a mistake from Jar Jar being there. And sadly that sees the Aston Martin drop to P15. I've got to say, it did look like it was all on the Aston, I can't lie. Sadly for him, doesn't look like there was much that the Mercedes could have done. Draclen 18-0, he is leading the race. So we've got a couple of drivers at the back just dropping off as Shazam side by side with a championship leader Flynn. Flynn does get the move done, and now Flynn into the top 10 as Woody and Parkour temporarily were side by side. Woody just ahead now and up into P12. Parkour just dropping back a little bit. Let's go up the field and boy knockout as this pack have just dropped off now. So ARC Mickey down are over a second away, losing the DRS now. So it's a little bit of an issue for these, and if they want to rise up the field tonight, then they need to get back within a second. Can Mickey knock out, drag them along to the front 5, which are Drac, Gandalf, Mr. Potwash, who I have to say has had a fantastic event so far, qualifying and the race. I mean, it's only lap 2, but wow, he has done particularly well. He has to be the most impressive one to be up there, to be honest. P3, Mr. Potwash, that is quite outstanding through these early stages of the race. We will drop down and towards Boy Knockout as he's going to make the pass here on ARC Mickey and move himself up into P6. And there you go, you got Badger as well, and a top two going side by side now as it looks like Jack's connection has not improved. I was going to say it looked like it had improved for a moment. Sadly not. Jar Jar, 10-second penalty. As I'm not going to stay on board with Jack. I don't think it would be fair to. But Gandalf at the moment is now leading the race. He has taken the place of Destroyer Jack. Then you've got Kingy, you've got Cannon. Potwash still there as well, but has dropped back to P5. So he has lost a couple of the spots since that impressive start from the Ferrari. Yes, indeed, as Kezinate says, do your best to have it Connor in the kick Sauber, of course, yes. And a few places, well, sort of dropping down a little bit further back as Angry Badger goes side by side with Mickey. ARC Mickey just stays ahead in P7. Not had the best start in the race so far. We'll check on the tyre situation then. That now explains why he's not had the best start. He's on hard tyres here as our King and Destroyer Jack are going side by side, maybe. They might be going side by side. It does look like it. King on the inside of Gandalf. That is definitely happening. And a little tiny bit of contact. Nothing severe as Cannon also gets his way through the field. Would say for Drac it might be best if he were to leave and then rejoin. I think he might need to reset his connection potentially. Because certainly it's not going too great there. Connection wise for Destroyer Drac. But either way, now the top 5 are still there, but Boy Knockout just 1.2 away. Don't forget he was about 1.5 seconds adrift, and now he has begun to close the gap here. And he's within a second. So Boy Knockout will get DRS from the top 5. Wow, what a job he's done. That's quite impressive as well from Boy Knockout there. To get within DRS range from 1.5 away from what was a DRS train, that is really, really great from him. Silky Stevens overtaking his teammate Shazam, so up into P13 he goes. I'll drop back towards parkour with Woody at the moment of pairing. Still lingering at the back of the field as King bypasses Gandalf. So the McLaren heads to Mercedes, then Drac, Potwash and Boy Knockout. As a few positions are being changed here. ARC Mickey is behind Flynn now. So the hard tyres not quite kicking in for ARC Mickey just yet. He's hoping that the long game will work for him, as not the greatest of exits from Angry Badger will allow for Connor and also Flynn to have a bit of a run here as they head up into turn 8. So a good start, however, from these guys. Jack can Alt plus F4 reset connection, then rejoin, take control if needed. I presume you mean the AI can just take control, yeah. That would be best though. It would be best if Jack were to. Because unless his car has fixed it now whilst I've not quite seen it. But I'll go back up the field in a moment. We've got ARC Mickey just here. Actually now I'll go up the field because Mr. Potwash is on Jack. Let's see. On board with Mr. Potwash, yeah, it's still sort of moving around, isn't it? As Mr. Potwash takes a very interesting line there. That gives Boy Knockout a chance. We're just going to quickly go up towards Gandalf, side by side, and now we're going to drop back towards this battle. Boy Knockout, who is with Mr. Potwash, and Knockout gets through. And now Cannon on the inside of Kingy the King. And he has got himself ahead, but at what cost? Because Kingy the King has now got front wing damage. He has lost his end plate on the right side. That will cost him some downforce, there's no doubt about that, at a track which certainly does require a great amount of downforce as well. So this is an issue for the McLaren, and was it due to that contact with Cannon in the Mercedes? Potentially so, but we are just going to stick on with this front 6 now. Angry Badger 3 seconds adrift, so the two Ferraris are certainly separated. But then there's a second DRS train, back to Woody. Then you've got Silky ahead of Shazam. Then you've got Jar Jar, sadly, who is in desperate need of a safety car. I mean, the good news for King of the King, he's on soft tyres and he can box for mediums or hards. Maybe in a few laps' time, try and take them to the end as the two Mercedes trade places. Cannon now takes the race lead here. And you've got Drac still in fourth. His connection doesn't seem as bad as what it was, though. I mean, it's still sort of moving around a bit. But the first lap, it was quite a lot, I can't lie. As our places are being changed, Angry Badger taking a very diverse route on the circuit, and that is out of turn 3 into 4. So a very interesting navigation there from Angry Badger, but he's dropped down to P13 now. Let's go back up the field and Destroyer Jack closing in on Kingy the King. It looks like it anyways, it does look that way. And he's looking at a bit of a switchback. Is he in a position to go for the overtake? Well, certainly one man is. That is Boy Knockout. And Boy Knockout round the outside of Jack does get himself ahead. And Boy Knockout is up into 4th position. Oh, it's a mistake there from Kingy. But Kingy just about stays there. Mr. Potwash now ahead of Drac. And Drac now drops to P6. I do still think the Alpine will be better served to, well, to reset the connection. I mean, if we get a safety car, it would be certainly beneficial for Drac, I think. And I'm sure that we probably will, with Boy Knockout ahead of King of the King as well. And the top two, the two Mercedes, have absolutely cleared the pack now. So Gandalf and Cannon, as you can see, they are just 1.7 clear of Knockout. But the good news is Boy Knockout has looked particularly quick round here. As you saw earlier on, where he closed the DRS train from the leaders, from the 1.5 second deficit, and got back to within a second. Has now made his way up to P3 as something has occurred for Havoc Connor. And Connor is off at turn 8, which is the round where he actually retired in qualifying. He's now dropped down to P14. Head up the field again with the two Mercedes. I'm sure they won't battle each other too fiercely, unless it's the last lap maybe, but then you don't really want to get a Sebastian Vettel v Mark Webber, a Lewis Hamilton v Nico Rosberg moment. They're certainly the things that you do not want to be getting out of all of this. But either way, side by side they go, and that will see Cannon rise up. King of the King now does pit, so he'll be getting a new front wing on for him. And we head back then. Mr. Potwash stays ahead of Drac. And as you can see, I was saying about the pace of Boy Knockout, you can clearly see he looks particularly quick out on circuit, doesn't he? Look at the amount he is gaining on the Mercedes. He's almost within a second already. Boy Knockout is one to watch in this race. He is arguably the fastest driver on track. I mean, out of all the 15 drivers, he is the one that I have been the most impressed by in terms of raw pace. And if there is one driver who can stop the Mercedes party, it is Boy Knockout. And let's see what he can do through the next 3/4 of the Grand Prix. But he is doing a fantastic job, but he needs to try and close up if he can. But he's the only one who looks like he can take the threat to the Mercedes. Let's drop down again to this pairing then. Mr. Potwash with Destroyer Jack in behind him. And Mr. Potwash will be hoping that he could just stay ahead, but the Alpine will look to make a move. Destroyer Jack again has been doing pretty well this season, up into 3rd in a championship. Now does get a move done on Potwash. Gandalf also ahead of Cannon, and Parkour through on Flynn. Parkour now is up into P6, and again another potential couple of candidates here. Don't forget ARC Mickey's on hard tyres as well. He is currently in 8th, and he is in this little DRS train with Parkour, Flynn, and also Woody. So Mickey still looks pretty good out there on those hard compound tyres. These softs will be dropping off, but when will they drop off? That is going to be the question for both of the Mercedes drivers. As Kesonator says, Mercedes definitely got upgrades, but also says Boy Knockout for the win. So he maybe sees Boy Knockout having that pace, but does he have the pure race consistency to outpace the two Mercedes tonight? That remains to be seen, but these two are the two that we are looking at who may win this race. It could be set between these two, but don't forget when they box, which may not take too long. Oh no! Oh no! Cannon is out! Unbelievable! We've got a safety car. The two Mercedes turn into Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg and DNF for Cannon. Unbelievable! Wow, the two Mercedes. Well, they'll be having a conversation later this evening, I'm sure. I'm gonna be honest. I'm shocked that Cannon went for that move. Like, I'm not shocked he went for the overtake, but I thought he would have just left that out a little bit longer when you're going round that bend. Wow. I mean, I might be wrong, but I thought Cannon should have just stayed behind for like extra couple of seconds once you're actually on the proper main straight. That's where you want to make the move. It is risky making an overtake round the bend. Even if it's on the exit, it's so challenging. And we saw there, that's how challenging it is. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Teammate as well. That is mental. But there you go. Cannon, unfortunately, is out of the race. And for me personally, from what I've seen, I don't think it's an incident that Gandalf will get a penalty for, because for me, it looked like Cannon just went into his own teammate, really. It's very difficult making the move on the exit of the bend, though. The place where you want to make the move is when you're on the actual straight. You don't want to be making a move round the bend because it is so risky, as we have just seen there between the two Mercedes drivers. Well, at least now everybody gets a chance to do what they want to do, and they're all pitting as you would expect. ARC Mickey on the hards, staying out, which is interesting. I would have thought, I know they're on hard tyres, but I would have honestly thought they would have both pitted. If I was Mickey or Silky, I know that you're only going for mediums or even softs, but I would have definitely pitted. Even if it's onto a fresh set of mediums, at least pit. Make sure you're on fresh rubber. Because these two on 10 or 11 lap older tyres, they are going to struggle now. Oh, speaking of struggling, Jar Jar Bing, drive-through penalty. And it wouldn't surprise me if he retired in the pits here. Let's hope he doesn't, but it would not surprise me. Once you get a drive-through penalty, yeah, not ideal. Let's see, I mean, he's not retiring at the moment. He's serving a penalty. Must be a 5-second or a 10-second penalty that he's serving. Okay, to be fair to Jar Jar, he's actually continuing, so fair play. Coffee was probably thinking, please don't retire, please don't retire, please don't retire. In the end, obviously, he hasn't retired. But there you go, he's out now. 2 laps on his mediums, but at least he's still in the race in P14. But still has to serve that drive-through penalty. So again, as he has been since lap 1, may be hoping for a... Oh! What? I was going to say he may be hoping for another safety car, but something has occurred here. Gandalf's got front wing damage. Something's occurred between Gandalf and Silky Stevens. So Gandalf has got damage now. So from when the Mercedes were dominating, it was a 1 and 2. All of a sudden, oh no! All of a sudden, Gandalf is having to pit and change his wing and serve a penalty. On top of that, his teammate's out, and it's gone from bad to worse for Mercedes. Gandalf's going to come out, he's in P13 now. Well, the good news is he's got a new front wing and he's on the freshest tyres of anyone. Sadly for Gandalf, that's the only good news I have to report for him. I don't have much else that's particularly going to be ideal for him. It's not going to be favourable right now. So yeah, best of luck to Gandalf to getting through this race. Someone check up Winnie's mental health. Winnie fuming, I imagine. Ouch, yeah, good point. Had too much overspeed with a great exit. Was bin it or take out my teammate, says Cannon. Yeah, I would have recommended just... I know you did have a great exit, but just hold out, especially when it's your teammate. Just hold out a little bit. Once you get onto the straight, that's where you want to make the move. I think going around the bend is just a little bit... It's a little bit difficult. Let's just say that much. Unpredictable. And sadly, that's just what's happened. Mercedes have become the new Ferrari. Yeah, Willie may not mind watching the opening 10 laps, but after that I think he might turn it off. I wouldn't blame him. Just watch the opening 10 laps, Willie, and don't watch any more. So the safety car is in this lap then. So as we normally do, we're going to get the telemetry up, but only for the safety car restart, just to make sure it's a fair restart. ARC Mickey, and I'm sure it will be. Plenty of experience on Mickey, so he is getting... There you go. And... Oh, Jar Jar Binks has another drive-through penalty. Sorry? Oh, he must have gone into the pits but overtaken someone. Oh, no. So Jar Jar Binks, I believe, is serving as a drive-through penalty, but will have to serve another drive-through penalty, I do believe. Unless I'm mistaken from the game, but that is what it seems, that Jar Jar Binks has picked up a second drive-through penalty for what seems to be overtaking whilst he was sort of in the pit lane, if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. But either way, Mickey has made a good restart to Destroyer Track, still there in second place. Sadly for him, still sort of lagging around. Shazam dropping back now behind a few drivers. Badger, Woody, and also Gandalf. Let's go towards Havoc Connor. Got a bit of a cluster of cars here, involving King of the King and involving Flynn as well. King of the King did get a great exit, but not quite close enough to make a move on Flynn here on lap 14. Alpine 1-2, I'm scared now, says Butch. After seeing what happened to Mercedes, I don't blame you. We're going to move up low towards Boy Knockout on the rear of Silky Stevens. Don't forget Silky has had to drop down a place now on those 14-lap old hard tyres. Under pressure from Boy Knockout, who's looked particularly quick in this Grand Prix. Side by side, go Knockout and Silky. Has he got it ahead? Yes, he has. Boy Knockout is up onto the podium. So he has made the move stick. Mr. Potwash through on parkour, but they are now side by side, going all the way up into turn 6 and leading around the bend at turn 7 they'll go. So parkour ahead of Mr. Potwash now, and is able to close in on Silky Stevens. So a couple of the drivers who did start at the rear end, the likes of Parkour, the likes of Flynn, trying to work their way through the field. Obviously ARC Mickey, well, you can say now he's having a great race, but can he hang on with much older tyres, especially when he's got his own teammate? And look who's behind him. Boy Knockout. Oh, there's a narrow angle there from Silky. And very bumpy from Parkour. Parkour's got themselves through, as Mr. Potwash as well has managed to make themselves get through on Silky Stevens. So there you go. Silky Stevens, sadly for him, losing 2 places in one corner. Flynn, what can he do? He's ahead of Kingy, but he's trying to track down Silky, and also Mr. Potwash. Potwash side by side with Parkour. Is Potwash going to get himself ahead? Yes, he is, as Parkour just has to drop in behind. And then you've got Silky, followed by Flynn, Kingy, Connor, and then Angry Badger with Gandalf and Woody involved as well. So it is a 12-way battle right now for not just the podium but also for the win. Team orders, says Putch, as he's probably indicating that he would rather see Drac take the lead in the race. The only risk of that is that Jack has been lagging around, so could be a little bit of a risk, but at the same time he's on 10-lap fresher tyres. It does make sense. I can say though, from personal experience, if you do try and work with ARC Mickey as a teammate, I can guarantee you can do it. I've always said it, I know I've worked with you, Putch. Oh, as these two go side by side, I will continue with that in a second. King of the King, his end plate is gone. That's either new damage or it's his old damage that he didn't replace. But King of the King, sadly for him, has still got wing damage. As now going round the bend, you've got the Ferrari making a quick dash. As Drac gets through on Mickey, Flynn overtakes Silky. And now it's a double on Kingy. And on the inside goes Gandalf and Badger. Gandalf over to P9 now. Badger has a drop in behind, and Mercedes finds their way through. But I was saying, so yeah, I know obviously I've worked with you, Putch, as well. But ARC Mickey was like the ultimate teammate in terms of how me and him worked together in Tier 2, because Mickey won the championship. I got P2. The end results were quite phenomenal back in Season 3. So I know from personal experience, ARC Mickey, if you try and work with him, genuinely, he could be an excellent teammate, and he certainly was back then. So, yeah, that's what I know for sure. Keep your overtakes clean and pick when you do it, says Kesenator on Havoc Connor. Connor currently in 8th position. But we may just have to rise up the field. Let's go towards the front end again. As we've got the 2 Alpines now, but look who's in behind. A man who has looked rapid all race. Boy, knockout on ARC Mickey. And knockout is going for the jugular. He's making the move. Fastest lap to parkour. Oh, there's a problem. Ferrari, Angry Badger is a safety car. King of the King with a 10-second penalty. Badger with front wing damage. And what I was saying about Jar Jar Pig, that he needed a safety car. Guess what we've got? We've got another safety car. And ARC Mickey, I can guarantee, is going to pick. Silky Stevens is also most likely going to pit as well. They've got a box now. It's a second safety car. They just have to. But Destroyer Jack's got the race lead. I don't know, I feel like the best thing for him would be to leave and reset his connection, but I don't know. And again, right now, sort of moving a little bit, isn't it? You can sort of see it, but it's not too bad. Yeah, it's only a little bit now. It was a lot worse at the start, but since then it's sort of died down a bit. But yeah, at the moment, then, what is everyone going to do for pit stops? Double stack, Put says about the Alpine pairing. Possibly. Let's see what Destroyer Jack chooses to do then. Is he going to stay on the hard, or is he going to go mediums to the end? Could very well be a strat to go into the mediums, but Destroyer Jack deciding not to hold up his teammate then. Oh! Never mind, his teammate staying out. What about Silky? Silky's in, but ARC Mickey stays out. Now, okay, that's an interesting strategy call. I'm very surprised about that Badger drive-through penalty. So, sadly for the Ferrari, he will have to serve that after the safety car has ended. But both V-carbs are pitting then. First mediums for the pairing. Then you've got Gandalf, who has now got ahead of Shazam. Gandalf in the top 10 on medium tyres. He's on fresh rubber as well. This does give Mercedes a chance. But I'm very surprised about Mickey. He's yet to pit in this race. And now he's the only driver yet to pit. And that's the penalty situation. Drive through for Badger. 10 seconds for Kingy. Maybe King of the King. He is actually in the pits now, so he's going to serve that. So it's a pit stop. So as you can see, Mickey, the only one yet to pit. Compare that to Gandalf, compare that to King of the King. They have both pitted 3 times in this race so far. So, there you go. ARC Mickey, I mean, Putch just say got to be mediums, and he says no way. As maybe a little bit surprised as well about his teammate not pitting. Again, that's Mickey, a former Tier 1 and Tier 2 champion. I know it was back in Seasons 3 and 4, but I don't know, you'd still expect ARC Mickey with the experience he has to have pitted, but obviously he feels like the mediums maybe won't go to the end. Multiple drivers think the other way. Well, ARC Mickey, don't pit now. I thought for a moment he was going to pit, then I'm like, no, you can't do it now, it's too late. Yeah, he does stay out though. I don't know, he's probably regretting not pitting now. Oh, as deck reports 10 to 15 minutes for rain. Wow, thank you very much for that information, deck. I do appreciate that, and that will make it very interesting. And you can see, to be fair, the clouds are getting a little bit more grey. And the more safety cars we get, don't forget, the more we get of safety cars, that means the less racing, the more the time has to go up then. So, whilst 10 to 15 minutes in green flag racing, that is very different to having a few minutes under yellow flags through the safety car period. So you're effectively losing, what, 3 or 4 minutes of racing here? It does make a big impact. Mickey knows what he's doing, says Kesenaya. Let him cook, says Putch. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, again, he's got plenty of experience. If there was one driver on this grid who I know has got plenty of experience, is ARC Mickey. Especially in terms of UFRL, in terms of winning a couple of championships again. Tier 2 in Season 3, went up in Season 4, won the Tier 1 championship at the first time of asking. So, plenty of experience, but is this the smartest of calls? We shall find out. Destroyer Jack, well, he's going to be very interesting because he's going to start, isn't he? Let's have a look. Yeah, we're going to go back away from it all. Let's go to position changes then. Good luck to Boy Knockout following this though. To be fair, Jack's gone. So it's actually a very quick restart from Jack. And it has made Boy Knockout sort of have to drop off a little bit. So Jack is certainly going to preserve the lead as we head into turn 1. But yes, let's see now what is going to occur. Oh, and they are going side by side. What's going on here with Jack at the moment? With Boy Knockout and a Ferrari pot wash round the outside. Mr. Pot Wash, what a move! Brilliant from the Ferrari. He's tracking down Boy Knockout. He's side by side, but he couldn't quite hang on. But Mr. Pot was onto the podium. But Mickey has a look on the inside. Mickey draws alongside. But the Ferrari almost spinning it round, but just about hangs on. Into P3 now goes Mr. Potwash again. He's having a sensational Grand Prix. Mickey side by side under pressure from Parkour. Can Parkour get a big move here and get herself up into the top 4? Side by side they go, but it is going to be ARC Mickey who hangs on to the position. Parkour does seem to have had a pretty clean race tonight from what I've seen. Woody just behind his teammate Flynn as well. It's, actually, we're probably going to have to stay on with these guys. Flynn very close now towards Parkour, looking like he's going to make the move. Side by side they go. This is Flynn. But Flynn just has to stay in behind Parkour. And further back also Connor, Silky, Gandalf, Jar Jar, and then Kingy the King just behind. Oh, we're going to have to hang on. We're going to stay with these guys because these are the ones really close to each other now. As Silky Stevens has a look on the inside. Speaking of a look, side by side, Kingy the King with Jar Jar. Jar Jar just ahead. And the Aston Martin is into P11 now. So Kingy just about unable to scrap it out there. What about Silky Stevens? We're thinking about moving up towards Parkour. We are going to move up towards Parkour now. Don't forget Parkour on much fresher rubber compared to ARC Mickey. So Mickey on the older tyres, yet to pit, don't forget. Compare that to Parkour. Let's see what Parkour can do here. Does Parkour go for the overtake? Round the outside. It will be a switch onto the inside line. Mickey leaves a space. And Mickey, very good driver of course. And he has left a space. But bad news for ARC Mickey. There will be no DRS for the Alpine. There will be DRS for Parkour however. So it's a massive chance as Boy Knockout makes a move, takes the lead away from Destroyer Jack, then with Mr. Potwash just behind. Parkour now, Flynn also gets through. And oh, late braking! Woody, oh no! Woody has gone so deep in. I mean, you don't want to go any deeper than that. You'll be at the bottom of the sea, my man. But either way, Woody, sadly, down to P12, is now Potwash side by side with Destroyer Jack. Potwash is on to second place. Potwash is in second place. Oh my gosh, what a race for Mr. Potwash. I mean, he might not be winning drive of the day right now, just purely because Boy Knockout has been tremendous as well. But Mr. Potwash tonight has been absolutely tremendous. What a race he's having, what an event he's having. This is the best I have seen from Mr. Potwash ever in Tier 2, ever. And I've raced with this man for multiple seasons. This has been incredibly impressive from him. I will drop down now, King of the King with Jar Jar Bing. As our King of the King just about gets himself ahead. We rise back up the field towards Silky. Is Woody now ahead of Jar Jar. Jar Jar Bing just making a bit of a mistake it seems. Drop it to P12 onto the curb. That was a risk. I know he's got some damage on the right hand side. He does pit to repair. That was risky. On last year's game you would have gone straight on into the wall there if you got onto that curb. Thankfully the physics are a little bit different on this game. So on with ARC Mickey. Let's get the tyre situation back up as well so you guys can fully see the whole situation. As you can see, Mickey still yet to pit. Let's rise back up to the front runners, and Mr. Portwash still with DRS of Boy Knockout. And we know how quick Boy Knockout was looked, yet Mr. Portwash is hanging on to him. I mean, I'm not going to support anyone, but Mr. Potwash, honestly, what a race you're having. You have done fantastically well. We're going to drop down towards Kingy the King, closing in now on Gandalf. Looking at a place in the top 9, but couldn't quite get a move. Gandalf also looking further up. Havoc Connor on a bit older tyres. Mickey obviously on the oldest tyres. But now the likes of Connor and Gandalf and Kingy will look to get through. They're all going to go for the jugular here as Flynn bypasses parkour. And these guys are going at it, but we're going to drop down. Connor does get a move on, but Gandalf follows through. And Gandalf overtakes ARC Mickey now. So Gandalf up into 8th position. And of course, second in the championship, trying to track down this man Flynn, who is leading the championship. And he is in 4th position in this Grand Prix. So Flynn in a very healthy place right now for a top 4 finish. But again, we do have some rain due. But will it arrive before the end of the Grand Prix? So we're going to drop down the order then with Kingy the King scrapping out with ARC Mickey. Does the McLaren get through on this occasion? He'll have a look on the inside. Is he going to make the move on the inside? He half-heartedly has a look, but just about backs out. So King and the King now will get DRS. Mickey will not get DRS. We are going to go up the field towards Silky, towards Parkour, and towards Flynn as well. Destroyer Jack looking at a move on Mr. Potwash. It does look like those two going side by side. Jack has got the move done, but we're sticking on with this 3-way battle. Super close, but Parkour gets ahead of both Flynn and Silky. So Parkour now up into 4th position as Flynn under attack from Silky. Silky Stevens almost tangled there with the Haas, but just about recovers it well. But can Silky Stevens get himself ahead on the inside line? Not quite. Stays in behind. Jar Jar 11.3. Oh yeah, I'm going to add as well, we have yet to see anyone in Tier 2 get the fastest lap point this season. The Jar Jar Bing's fast lap continues. That will continue the way for all of the Tier 2 races. Still yet to see a single fastest lap point, which shows really like, even if you're coming out on top winning, even if you dominate in a race, which by the way doesn't really happen in Tier 2, but as you can see, like, not just tonight, but pretty much every race in Tier 2, at least that I've been commentating on, it's not typically dominated by any one driver. You do often get a few drivers up there at the very least. Sometimes you get quite a bit of a DRS train as well. Let's see what Silky does here, just still behind Flynn. So these guys hanging on to each other further down. ARC Mickey now does pit. So maybe feeling and potentially sensing there won't be any rain. He's going for softs. But the experience of the man, it may very well be a big mistake not to pit under one of the safety cars from ARC Mickey, particularly the second safety car. So we are directly on board with Flynn. Destroyer Jack still there, half a second to Boy Knockout. Mr. Potwash now is over a second behind, so sadly for the Ferrari, he may well be under pressure from the likes of Parkour, Flynn and Silky Stevens very, very soon. But yes, Dex says 10 to 15 minutes away from rain still, so no further update really on the rain arriving, so that most likely means the rain will not hit before the end of the Grand Prix. And as you can see now, King of the King making a move on Havoc. Connor, who gets the DRS here? Well, it is going to be King of the King. And the reason why I asked that was, actually, they both get DRS. The activation point is very early on. It's just after the turn 11-12 chicane part. So, as you can see on the track map, you have got the green sort of section, the green circle. That's where your activation points are on a DRS. And that's how early it is here at Zandvoort. So it's quite far away really from what you would expect. We're going to go back up towards the top 2 then, because Boy Knockout has got Destroyer Drac for company for the win. A big chance for Destroyer Drac to close the gap in the standings on Flynn, who is only in P6, don't forget. So Flynn is not in a fantastic place here. And you may very well argue, with Silky Stevens on fresh tyres, 9-lap old tyres they are, is he in prime position to get to battle with these two for the win maybe? Let's not rule out Silky Stevens for a chance of pushing for a victory. He's not that far away. If we look at the gap to the leader, he's only 4 seconds behind. He does have a few drivers to get through first, however. As Drac stays behind Boy Knockout. Parkour, Silky, Flynn all staying put as well. And what about King and the King also remaining in behind Gandalf? So let's go back up towards the top 2 then. Still waiting on when or if that rain is going to hit us. And again, no guarantees it will before the end of the Grand Prix. Yeah, his connection doesn't seem too bad now though. It's like little slight movements. It was much worse earlier on though. Lap 1 was probably where it really did sort of show. But that surprises me because it didn't really look like he was lagging qualifying, unless I'm mistaken. I mean, I do try and get on board with like every driver in quali, to be fair, so maybe that was a scenario, but he didn't seem to be lagging, at least when I saw him in qualifying, so I don't know, something's happened in the race, of course, or before the race, for the connection to go down, but he seems okay now, to be fair. And he's certainly in with a chance to win. But certainly in with a chance of a podium is Parkour now. And back from race bans. And onto the podium she goes. She gets through on Potwash. Can Potwash get back at Parkour? No. So Parkour now up into 3rd position. Just over 2 seconds from the top 2. And now, who is in prime position to win this race? Can Parkour compete? You still imagine Silky Stevens is in a fairly good place, but he needs to get a move on Mr. Potwash, who has again had an excellent race, but just seems to be dipping off at the final moments here. We've got 6.5 laps of racing to go, and Mr. Potwash may not even get in the top 5. And also, I will add, nobody has got a 3-second track limit penalty in this Grand Prix, which is quite remarkable. So again, very well played to the drivers on it. I know Zandvoort isn't a typical place to get loads of penalties, where you'd see that at the likes of Qatar, you might see, say, Monza, Austria, certainly one of those tracks where you do see penalties. So it's not quite like that, but either way, still they've all done very well. Still looking on the screen for potential rain, which has not yet arrived. So Silky Stevens, sadly for him, still remains in behind Mr. Potwash, as that's not the view I was quite wanting. Let's go back towards this one as we'll go quickly up the field towards Drac, who is closing in 2 tenths behind. What about Silky though? Because Silky Stevens for a moment was within 1.5 tenths of a second of Potwash. Really trying to fight their way through now, Silky Stevens, and cannot get any closer to Mr. Potwash. Gandalf is through on King of the King though, so Gandalf is up into P7, so we'll watch out for Gandalf in the final 5.5 laps. But Silky Stevens tracking down Potwash. Mr. Potwash does not have DRS, so this is going to be crucial for Silky Stevens and for Flynn. If they're close enough, they'll both make a move, but only Silky Stevens is close enough right now. He gets onto the curb. He tries to get a narrow angle. What does he do here? Here comes Silky, making the move on Potwash, going downtown with it, and Silky Stevens is up into 4th place. Don't forget, look at his tyres. They are 7 or 8 laps fresher than his rival. So this is good news for Silky Stevens. He is into the top 4. We'll drop down towards Gandalf then, who has just lost the place to King of the King, having just earned it back. So sadly for Gandalf, he's dropped behind the McLaren again. Let's go back up to the leaders and Knockout and Jack still 2.5 seconds or just under ahead of Parkour now. It's 2.7. Parkour's made an error. It's an error. It's the rain arriving here. We're going to have to check again directly on board because I like to have a look on the halo. That's where you can really see when the rain's hitting. Still no clear signs of rain right now, but Silky Stevens has not been any closer to Parkour over the last couple of laps than what he is now. What about Potwash? Any indication on anyone that the rain has arrived? Not quite yet, but it's getting closer. Flynn makes a move on Mr. Potwash. Potwash has dropped back quite a lot actually, but we're going to see Silky Stevens here make a move on Parkour, side by side with Parkour. This is for the final spot on the podium. Still side by side they go, and now Parkour on the outside of Parkour stays ahead of Silky Stevens, and Parkour hangs on to her place on the podium, but Silky Stevens certainly closing the gap, and that could have been a big move there for Silky. If he made the move stick, he would have had a chance to close in on the top two with his fresher tyres. He may have just missed a chance now. I think it's all for the podium, and sadly for Silky it's not going to be for the win. It's all down to the top two then, Boy Knockout and Destroyer Jack for the race win here at Zandvoort. Who's going to take all the points? 35 in total for a win alone, and this could be massive for Drag, but he just has a little bit of a slippery exit there when the rain is yet to hit, if it's going to hit. But Destroyer Jack still gets DRS, but it's not going to be close enough. We're going to drop towards Silky. This has to be a move now for Silky. He gets the exit he needs. We kickstart lap 34, 3 laps to go here at Zandvoort. Silky Stevens now is onto the podium. He will look to track down the top two. And then you've got the Ferrari, Mr. Potwash, just ahead of Gandalf, and King in the King just behind as well. So this trio are still gunning for a 6th place finish now. Not ideal this for Gandalf, by the way, 2nd in the championship, don't forget. And we are having a look here at Kingy the King. I mean, he'll know that he may have a chance at a championship. He's got his one of his rivals ahead of him, so this could be big points for Kingy or for Gandalf. But their biggest rivals, the likes of Flynn and also Destroyer Jack now, are well up the field, looking set for a strong points-paying position. We are going to have to head up the field though towards the top two. Actually, I'm going to take it down again. King of the King closing in on Gandalf. A move being made. Mickey ahead of Shazam. ARC Mickey up until 11th. May even get Woody come the end of the race. Only 3 seconds back now. But we're going to go up the field towards Flynn. And the rain's here. The rain has hit us here at Zandvoort. The final 2 laps then. So Flynn looks at a move on Parkour. Could not make it. Gandalf ahead of Potwash. The 3-way battle. Here we go, side by side. Potwash with King of the King. Who gets ahead? The Ferrari has the outside line. The McLaren on the inside. And King of the King squeezed his way through on Mr. Potwash. So Potwash, the race he was having, sadly, he's down into 8th place now because Kingy and Gandalf both get ahead of him. But we are on to the penultimate lap in the rain. DRS is still enabled here at Zandvoort. And Destroyer Jack will still get a chance at the win. But can he secure his big day, his big evening? Destroyer Jack has DRS then as we run up into turns 11 and 12. Boy Knockout hangs on to the place for now. But then Jack will get a big dose of DRS out of turn 14 into turn 1. 6.5 tenths, going up to 7 almost. Now Destroyer Jack applying the pressure. Both get onto the grass a little bit, but Boy Knockout has the advantage, and Boy Knockout preserves the race lead on the final lap. What about this battle? Silky Stevens stays ahead of Parkour and Flynn. Silky, but side by side go Parkour and Silky. They are still side by side. Parkour is through on Silky. Oh no, Silky has Parkour with a mistake. Parkour with a massive error, and through goes Silky and Flynn for the final spot on the podium. Side by side go Knockout and Drag. Drag has lost out, but he's trying to take it again. He has lost out on taking the lead on the final lap. He will get 2 doses of DRS here to the line. But let's see if Destroyer Jack can take the lead up into turn 11. Has he got himself a chance? Burning the battery all the way, fighting with Boy Knockout, but he's not able to take the place just yet. One final chance. What about Flynn on the inside of Silky? Stays behind. Silky now is onto the podium, but Flynn has a bit of an error. Parkour goes side by side with Flynn now. So this is for 4th place, and round the outside goes Parkour. Parkour gets ahead. What about Drag? To the line, Drag with Boy Knockout wins a Zandvoort. Wow, less than a tenth of a second. Silky hangs onto a podium. Parkour and Flynn, Gandalf, Pips king of the king by also less than a tenth of a second. And you got Potwash, Havoc Connor P9, ARC Mickey will take a 10th place finish. Woody 11th, Badger 12th, Shazam 13th. And a final driver who will also take points will be Jar Jar Bing. But Boy Knockout wins the Dutch Grand Prix by less than a tenth of a second ahead of Destroyer Drac. Wow. I mean, the battling throughout was quite immense, especially those final few laps. Quite remarkable. Silky Stevens getting the in-game driver of the day. Be honest, it's going to be difficult to take away a driver of the day from the race winner, Boy Knockout there. I think Boy Knockout's most likely going to have to take it. But Silky Stevens done tremendously. Drac done tremendously, just missing out on the win as well. Potwash would have been my earlier sort of suggestion, but sadly did drop off through those last few laps as well. That's the podium celebrations there, as you can see. So Boy Knockout, congratulations, it is the victory for the Aston Martin. Ahead of Destroyer Jack in 2nd position. Silky Stevens, the final spot on the podium. Parkour takes home 4th from Flynn in 5th. Then you've got Gandalf P6 and the Mercedes still sort of there with his championship rival. King of the King 7th, Mr. Potwash 8th, Havoc Connor 9th, and ARC Mickey with the final spot on to the top 10 there. Then you've got Woody, Badger, Shazam and Jar Jar. That final lap point will not go to any of the drivers, again sadly. For another race, and that keeps happening this season in Tier 2. But wow, congratulations there. What a battle. Boy Knockout and Destroyer Drag had also what a battle for the podium. I mean, and then not only that, you had 2 drivers right at the end, the McLaren there, King of the King, just I think missing out on that position too. But wow, that was some excellent battling, I've got to say. Right, let's have a look then if I can get the results and know exactly what was happening. Yeah, it was incredible. Yes, indeed, it was Silky. I mean, the battling through those, well, not even through the final laps, but through the whole race really was quite outstanding. Sort of Zandvoort, typically one of those where you find overtaking a bit tricky, but gotta say tonight, it was impressive stuff. I mean, yeah, there may be some collisions, but didn't look like that much, in all honesty. Anyway, let's hope not. But either way, from the angles we were getting, it did look like a fantastic race. Again, from Tier 2. Tier 2 tends to be that tier that everyone looks at and thinks they have some incredible battling. And that resumes again tonight. So we will head into the interview room in just a moment to see if anybody wants to have an interview. Of course, if anybody racing tonight wants an interview, particularly those who ended up onto the podium, please do head into the interview room. If not, don't worry too much. It's not a requirement. It's just, just nice sometimes. But yeah. Right, let's pop that into there. Yes, we are doing interviews, so if people want to head into the interview room and Discord, please do feel free, and I will join you in just a moment. That's these results. Okay. Oh, would put far too socially awkward. Yeah, don't know worries. Boy Knockout says, I would join the interview room, but I haven't got a mic, so I don't know how I would join. Ah, no worries. I mean, to be fair, the poems tend to do it just through their phone. So I don't know. I don't know if that's an option for you or not. But I don't know. I mean, obviously not just the poems, but I'm sure other people just do it through their phone as well. I don't know. I've not done it personally through the phone, but I know people do. So yeah, you can technically do it that way, and it would get streamed as normal as well, so people can hear you. But let's see, is anybody in there? Yeah, there are a couple of drivers in. Right. So make sure we have the results up so I know where everybody finished, not just in the race, but also in the quali and everything like that. But yes, whilst you're all sorting out, if you do want to try and get involved in the interviews, we are just going to head into the interview room as well. But I want to make sure everything's all set up. I think it is. Right. So we have now just joined the interview room. Let's make sure we get the screen up. There you go. So let's see, who shall we start off with? I think, based on the results, ideally you don't want to start off with the race winner. So, but then again, we've got parkour. Okay, all right, and that's an easy way to start. But let's see. Results is what I want to get. I'll put them there. Okay. So we will start off the interviews then with the driver who just took a fourth place finish, narrowly missing out on the podium. Good evening, parkour.
Good evening. Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
It's lovely.
Sort of.
Um,
Can't hear you too much. Oh,
shaking.
there you go.
Oh, there we go. I'm shaking. I can't lie to you. I am shaking like nobody's business after that race.
You've done well though. You've done well, from what I saw at least.
Yeah, I started at the back because of my engine penalty,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and at the start it was following Flynn through. He was just carving his way, and I was just following my way through, trying not to spin out. Then the safety car came out, pit to hards. Was tempted to go for a softs, but my team principal came in the chat and decided against it. And then towards the end, fighting for a podium, just the rain and the tyre wear on the last lap, and that awkward turn three, I think it is, that goes to the right.
Mm.
It just
Yeah,
spanned me out. Luckily, kept it out of the wall somehow.
yeah,
And
yeah. No, I saw
yeah,
that. Yeah, that was a bit ferocious,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, managed to just stay on the back of them, get Flynn into the second to last corner, and just get through, and get P4. So good race back, and no incidents. I hope. I think I don't
You
remember having
hope.
many. I think there was one overtake I had. I think it was Silky Stevens early in the race, but just have to look back at it. But there wasn't any damage between us. I think, and there's not bad blood anyways. That's all I want.
Yeah, I mean, from what I saw, you did seem pretty good on there. I didn't see any incidents personally from you, so that's always a good sign. It's never certain, but normally a good sign that I didn't see anything. Yeah. So you pretty much answered every single question. But in terms of when
Nice.
that rain hit, were you a bit worried at that time then?
Well, it starts in 10 minutes,
Mm,
of around lap 24, and I was like, oh, Varane could hit the end, but I think it wasn't too bad. I don't think it affected that much, but I think with the tyre wear and with the nature of that turn three is what was affecting us. The rest of the turns again were pretty much fine. I was just struggling around that turn and a couple of other turns anyways. So I don't think it was affecting that much. But I don't think I was too stressed for the rain coming in to affect the race that badly. Unless it just came to a downpour all of a sudden.
mm. I'm gonna just rejoin because I don't know if it's my side or not. So I'm just gonna rejoin the interview room. Hopefully it's my side because I know it'll fix it. I'm hoping. So I'll be back in just a second. Right, I am back. So hopefully it has sort of fixed it. Fingers crossed. So yeah, we were sort of going through the rain. But yeah, with the amount of time you had remaining for the rain, I think I heard that there were 10 to 15 minutes left, was what Deck was saying on the stream. So and that was probably just after the second sort of round of pit stops. So at that stage, were you thinking, I just want to hang out until that rain arrives? And were you thinking you were gonna pit or not?
Well, with on that second safety car, I was just judging what people were doing in front of me. Because obviously ARC Mickey hadn't pitted by that point.
No. Yeah.
And ahead, if they were going into pit, I was thinking about just diving into the pit so I could steer with them. Obviously, would have been giving up track position, but new tires are everything, even against hard tires. Like mediums would have got the job done, I think. But no, everybody stayed outside, decided to stay out with them. Wish I could have followed through P2 and P1 more. I felt like I was catching up with them till I think it was my tires that just hit that cliff, and then the track it wasn't doing it anymore the car. But no, it was a good result, and I was happy with that. Good to bring points to the Williams teams, and I just hope that I can maybe continue this at least for one race. Just keep going for one
Yeah.
more race, and then
Mm.
every race is as it comes. Now it's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, literally just one race at a time, I think, especially when you're sort of hanging on in terms of the penalty points. But I think it's more just go one race at a time. You kept it clean from what I saw in that race. Obviously, you don't know if there's going to be incidents posted through, but if there's not, then great, you're out of the incident room, and you know you're going to be without a penalty. So yeah, literally, that's just what you've got to do in terms of the mindset. Just not get those penalties in it.
I think 100% racing in 100% definitely helped with that. Like just
Mm.
keeping up with the consistency in 100% because I've been doing not too bad there. Been in maybe one instant I think there, and it's really helped with my consistency. So
Yeah, that's normally what's happened as well, because you had quite a sort of couple of seasons away from racing, so it sort of makes sense. You're a bit rusty, but you're definitely sort of getting back into it now.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff overall then. So that was Parkour fourth place finish tonight, and I'm sure she'll be hoping she can get up onto the podium, maybe with some potential post-race penalties as well. Right. So next up, who else is in? Right. So in the end, we've got a driver finishing P6 tonight. Good evening, Gandalf.
Oh, hello.
Hello, mate. I reckon you'll probably know roughly what question I will ask. Let's start off with qualifier low, so I won't quite get to the question that everyone's waiting for.
Yeah.
Um, qualified second place, just behind Jack in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I probably went on Inters probably a little bit too late, because the times were flying up really, and the racing line was drying out. So, but yeah, P2, well, considering it was wet,
Hmm.
it's not my forte, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, you definitely seem to have picked it up in the vein. I can't lie. Compared to again, my mind always thinks back to Cotta last season for you, but you have massively
Yeah,
stepped
that
up
was
this season.
awful. That race was terrible. Yeah, I think I started P2 and like finished like second to last or something. So,
Yeah, I remember
that was,
every single time I was on you, you were just sort of having to really hang on to a position. Yeah, it
yeah,
didn't look particularly
yeah,
great, but compared to this season, honestly, like this season in the rain, you've looked very strong.
yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
better.
so in terms of quality, obviously you done well. Started second, got your way up to the front early in the race, and those opening 10 laps or so looked very good for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I had to get myself in front of Drac. I couldn't sit behind him with that when it was just. I don't know if it was if what like he had,
Yeah,
but
I saw.
I couldn't
Yeah.
sit behind that.
Mm.
I nearly like went into him like three times just because he kept like glitching in front of me. But yeah,
Mm.
I think he managed to sort it out, which is good. But yeah, I had to like burn out everything to just get past him and
Mm.
sit comfortably. But yeah, like you said, the first like handful of laps were pretty good. I mean, Cannon,
Oh yeah, yeah.
working
Hang
together
on, hang
well.
on. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll get onto that part in a minute. Uh,
Go on.
yeah, no, you were kind of were working pretty well. From what I saw.
Yeah, I
Um,
thought it was
yeah.
going very well. It's
So
yeah,
sometimes it goes too well.
it does. It does. Anything can change in a couple of laps. So, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you're
it
spot
was
on.
good teamwork. It was no fighting, just saving energy. Just DRS, just
Mm.
how it is really. But Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
You can ask the
So yeah, sometimes it can work so well together. You just think that
yeah.
nothing can stop Mercedes from securing a 1 and 2, thinking you're prime Hamilton, prime Rosberg, dominating the
Yeah, we
race,
just
and
kept
then
pulling away.
you done brilliantly, and then all of a sudden, I think there was one particular corner. Oh yeah, the last corner. All of a sudden, turn 14 hit, and yeah, the contact. Bit mad.
There wasn't actually any contact.
Really? Was it not? Oh wow.
Yeah, no, there's no contact.
Ah,
Because it's quite bumpy and it's
yeah,
quite fast. I think
it
I
is. Yes.
noticed in like time trials and quali sims and stuff. If it depends on like your angle. If you're like steering like right on a bump, it just sends you into that wall on the right. And it's happened to
Mm.
me a couple of times on quali, and I've thought to myself, don't let that happen in the race. um, but yeah, yeah, I can't really say anymore. But it was just so unfortunate. I was just like, yeah, yeah.
Ah, wow. Yeah, I mean, I thought there was contact. I didn't think it was on you anyway, but I thought there was contact. But yeah, if there wasn't, then wow.
No, it was yeah. I did seem like come up quite close. So obviously, I just
Mm.
left him plenty of room because that's
Yeah,
how we
yeah,
were
yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
But I think he just made the move a bit slightly too early, and
Mm.
because he had such a better exit than me,
Yeah.
and yeah, he just went for it, and unfortunately, he probably just hit a bump uh, and sent him into the wall, and then that brought out the safety car just as I passed it. So
Yeah,
um,
very, very unfortunate incident, of course. Well, technically not an incident then, because if there was no contact, it's not really deemed an incident.
yeah,
But yeah,
it's just
um,
yeah.
but then after that, obviously the safety car happened, and then so what were your sort of thoughts once the safety car happened? Obviously, I know you're probably thinking, "Oh no, my teammate's out." Oh, I know you're probably
Yeah,
thinking that.
yeah. I thought that was it. To be honest, and then so I pitted for hards,
Yeah.
and then I think I've come up P3. I think Silky and I can't remember who was leading at the time. I think they were unused. And yeah, just coming to that last corner, I think Silky. I think whoever was leading broke quite sharply. Silky broke like quite hard after, and then I just went to the back of Silky and got a bit of wing damage, 10-second penalty, and just had to box straight away. And then that's just
Ah,
how I came out like P14, I think it was, just second
yeah.
to last, I think.
Yeah, I do
Um,
remember seeing that sort of go up on my screen, and I was like, "Oh wow, something big's happened here." Then,
yeah, the 10-second penalty for Gandalf.
yes,
Getting back to
s-
Silverstone, so um,
yeah,
yeah, it was just unfortunate. I think I was just running too close, and he braked quite hard, and I tried to like swerve out the way and brake, but it sort of hit my wing, and then that was enough to give myself wing damage, and I just thought box now and get over and done with.
did you not
Um,
think to turn into Sebastian Vettel and pull alongside him and then bash into him?
no, actually, it didn't. I was just more gutted, really. I was just like, yeah. I was like, it comes in threes. Cannon going out first one, yeah, and then that was me the second. I was just waiting for the third, basically during the whole race. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, I think I came out like towards the back, and then I just had to make the way up again. But it's really hard to overtake at Zandvoort. Um, just DRS trains and everything's quite makes it quite difficult.
Yeah, no, definitely, and obviously because you dropped to the back, even sort of after the second safety car, you weren't in an amazing position, but
No, yeah,
sort of did pick yourself up, getting a few places in the end.
yeah, I felt quick. I made some good overtakes. It was just I had to take some risks, just try and get past
Yeah,
like the DRS train. I did like some double overtakes and stuff just to get past them really. But I think that I think Flynn and was it Silky who was fighting up front in front of me. Everyone just kept to itself with the DRS train. I just couldn't catch up with that. And then Kingy joined in on the action, and I had to fend him off. So um, I was like just hoping. I was trying to put for P6, so in the end, because I just wanted to beat McLaren for the constructors. But it was very close. I was just watching the entire straight, just in my mirror, just watching him gain on me on that last lap.
yeah, but yeah, altogether, I think in the end, pretty good race. Just unfortunate, obviously, with yourself and your teammate, but yeah, altogether, apart from that sort of moment, you had a good
Yeah,
race.
yeah, yeah. Good recovery at the end.
Yeah.
Just shame about the rest of it.
Yes, but yeah, and again though, you're having a pretty strong season, still hanging on really to Flynn as well. So Flynn was only one place ahead of you. So again, it's Like he's
Yeah,
earning massive points.
I've not actually raced much of alongside Flynn for the first like half of the season. I've not really seen him much, so I'm looking forward to when I do.
I'm sure that will
Because I
come.
know he's
That
quick.
time will arrive.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm hoping so. Yeah.
But yeah, altogether though, mate, a pretty good recovery drive, and best of luck for next week as
Cheers.
well.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. So there you go. That was Gandalf, sixth place tonight. I think I'm gonna guess he'll still hang on to second in the championship. I've not really worked it out, but that would be my estimations. If he's not, it will be very close, obviously, with Destroyer Drac. Right, let's see who is still in. So we've got two drivers, right? Oh, this is good. So we've got the two drivers who ended up in the top two. Right, so now we head to tonight's runner-up. Good evening, Destroyer Drac.
Good evening, Viva. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, tired and still shaking, I would say. Very tough race.
Yes, I don't blame you. Yeah, let's start off with qualifying. What a lap! You got pole, I think, by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, I mean, I went on the wets. I stayed there for like 5 or 6 laps, tried to gauge the conditions, how it is, and I kind of realized that it was actually improving quite a lot, and I could see the dry line coming up. So I thought it was a repeat of Miami. So I knew that I think the best lap would be in the very end, so I then went for the. That's why I actually backed off on my second wet lap because I actually fueled for like three laps there, but I thought it was not the right call, so I boxed for inters and yeah, I think I just tried to hook a lap and it was yeah, it just came out well, similar to last week.
Mm. Yeah, it was. I mean, quali tonight was. I was not expecting it to be as similar as what it was, but it was like almost replicant of what happened. It was quite remarkable, really. But yeah, your quali obviously went really strongly. In terms of the start of the race, I know you were having I don't know if you knew at the time, but there were connection problems at the start, weren't there?
No, no, I knew. I got to
Okay.
know immediately, and but it was very strange because before the lobby, I actually restarted my PC just so I don't have any problems, and I checked my LAN connections and everything, and even now I actually popped it in the chat. I mean, I am on 1000 Mbps up and down, and my ping is just 2 milliseconds.
Oh,
2 milliseconds.
cheers.
Yeah, you can check on the chat. I have posted in the Discord chat. It's
No,
just
no,
two
no
milliseconds
worries.
and I'm hardwired. It was very strange. So I
Mm.
feel it is something to do with the game servers.
It wouldn't
Very strange.
surprise me,
But
honestly. It wouldn't surprise
yeah,
me.
I think because this is, I mean, I usually don't lag. I think you probably have seen on
Yeah,
stream. It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
rare. It's a one
Yeah,
off.
you're normally fine. I mean, to be fair, most drivers are normally fine. So yeah.
Yeah. But I think as the race went on after like lap 5 or 6, it
Mm.
got back to its normal. So I didn't find anybody else jumping later on.
Yeah, no,
So it
it did
kind of sorted
improve.
itself
Yeah,
out.
no, it did
Yeah,
improve as the
that's
race went
why
on.
in those first 4 or 5 laps, I literally backed off. I didn't fight anybody who was trying to overtake me. I was like, just go, just go.
Just go, but I want
And
to
even when
stay
I was
behind. Let me use your DRS.
exactly, I mean, if it was 23 or 22, I actually would have reset the game and then came back on. But the problem with this game is that if you go out of the lobby, you will not be able to take control of the car back again. It has happened to me 2 or 3 times. That's the only reason I stayed in the lobby without going off.
Yeah, I mean,
So it's a very big problem, this game. I think Boy
yeah,
Knockout also had a problem in Australia, I guess. No, maybe USA, I guess. I'm
possibly.
not really sure. Maybe you can ask him later on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, I've seen the issue because I was watching a creator series race. I
Yeah.
somebody was having an issue with trying to rejoin, and they had to do it a few times. Then it finally let them take control of the car. But
No, trust me, I have
yeah,
tried it 6 or 7 times in one lobby and it never
that's
came.
mad.
And then I just gave up.
Yeah,
So
don't
that's the
blame
only
you.
reason I didn't reset my game.
Mm. Ah, see.
Otherwise, I would have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why the game has sort of these issues, but there you go. I mean, maybe we have to blame EA a little bit on that, that's for sure. But
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about the race then. So obviously, at the point of, I mean, let's talk about, because obviously Cannon had the DNF. At that point, what were you thinking?
Yeah, as soon as I saw he DNF'd, I was sure it was going to be a safety car, and then I boxed immediately without thinking twice. So I just went for
Yes.
the hearts. And then if we got a late safety car, then I would probably go again. In the second safety car, for me, it was so surprising that I actually did not box for the mediums because I wanted to let Mickey box because he hadn't boxed. And then he didn't box. I was like, what are you doing?
I know,
Yeah,
yeah, I was
it
shocked
was
as well.
surprising for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
then
was very surprised.
yeah, I mean, he would have been up there had he boxed that lap. I think it would have been a great points finish for Alpine. Yeah,
Yeah.
just gutting it
No.
didn't happen.
So, so you would have pitted if you knew Mickey was going to stay out.
Yes, yeah,
Ah.
because Hearts was not the better tire on Netherlands.
Mm, yeah.
The mediums and the softs are the top ones, and I think mediums would have lasted the last 18 laps.
Mm.
So, and if you saw, Potwash was so quicker on the mediums,
Nah, he
so
was. He
I couldn't
was.
even hold on to him. No,
Mm, yeah. I mean, I kind of obviously. I'm not gonna say I want drivers up there, I want drivers down there, whatever. I don't really, that's nothing to do with me. I don't really think about that. But I would have sort of loved to see Mr. Potwash get a great result because he
yeah,
does have his struggles sometimes in tier two. But he sort of. But tonight, honestly, I think that was the best I've seen Mr. Potwash in tier two.
yeah, same here, same here. He had a solid race. And he was very quick, actually, very rapid. I was struggling to catch up and stay in his DRS range. So it was
Mm,
very difficult for me to keep my hard tires as well in
yeah,
temperature range.
yeah, he
It was
did
so
do.
cold.
He did do very well. And, I think in the end he got like P8, which really
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
quite what he deserved. I think he certainly deserved more than the eighth place. I think he probably should have been pushing around the podium. I think that would have been roughly where he would have deserved to finish. Obviously,
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't quite go your way, but hopefully Mr. Potwash can have a similar race like that again this season. It would be really nice to see. But back to you. So I think it's fair to say because you and Boy Knockout were sort of alone at the front. Were you ever sort of looking back to think, can anyone catch us up, or were you confident that nobody would?
I saw parkour was catching up. She was probably 1.5 seconds behind, but then I don't know what happened if she made a mistake or something. They fell back again, and I think in the very end, um, I think Silky was a threat to both of us because both me and Boy Knockout, both of us were struggling quite a lot in those last 4 laps because our hearts were falling off and also with the rain coming. But I think they were battling so hard back, so they never got a chance to catch up to us. Probably if they had worked out together, I think it would have been a 5 or 6 way fight in the end.
Yeah.
But we didn't have
Um.
the pace to match with them, I think.
mm, No, but you did do really well. And let's talk about those last few laps then. Your battle with Boy Knockout, just missing out at the line.
Yeah, uh, it's gutting again because this is the second win that I've lost again after Austin. I'm trying hard. Of course, this is my first season on no traction, so I think I should probably be happy with it. But I think I had two chances wherein I could have caught him, but I made a mistake in the penultimate corner, and then I think he was using all his ERS to get further up ahead, so there was no chance for me to catch up. I think in the last lap, I think even he saved quite a lot of ERS. Uh, yeah, but I should. He did a great race. I think he didn't make a single mistake apart from just one small one. But yeah, Zandvoort being a very tricky circuit to overtake, even if he did one mistake, it should have been a very big mistake for me to catch up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true. But yeah, you did do a
congratulations
really
to
good
him.
race, mate, honestly. And yeah, P2 was still a great result. Helps you close in on both Flynn and Gandalf as well. Not sure if you're
Yeah.
ahead of Gandalf, but I know you'll be very close to him now.
Yes, I think it's good points for the championship as well. I am not so positive of the championship because I know there are some tough tracks coming in for traction. Yeah, I think it's a championship between Gandalf and Flynn. So I'll probably be in P3 or P4. But I am more focused on the constructors championship because I think we are doing quite well. We had a great tier one race yesterday, so we had a good race today as well. Hope DD and PRV can do a great solid result tomorrow as well.
Yeah,
Let's see
no,
how it goes.
you
I
are
think it's
doing
very
well.
tight at the top.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't rule yourself out of the championship just yet, especially where Flynn and Gandalf. I think they've had enough of race. I think that's the second race in a row where they've both missed out on the podium. So yeah, I wouldn't
yeah,
rule yourself out. That's for sure.
yeah. Hopefully, but I think with the with the wet qualifying results, I mean, it's a massive shout out to Mr. P. I mean, without his help, I think
Mm,
I probably wouldn't have been even this close. So
that's good.
always grateful to him. He did a great job in helping me out.
Mm,
I think
uh,
that's why I'm finding so much space there. Yeah,
mm. Yeah, you've done really well, mate. And yeah, best of luck to next week as well.
yeah. Cheers, man. Thank you. Have a good night,
You too,
and
mate.
congratulations to Boy Naked as well.
Perfect.
Solid race.
And speaking of which, let's head then to the race winner, Boy Knockout. Good evening.
Hello, mate.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm a bit tired after that. But you know what? It's good to be back because it's been such a long time since I won anything on any F1 game. Um,
Ah,
so it's nice to be back, mate. Although I don't
that's
think I'll
good.
be staying here too long, but it's good to be here for a little bit.
Yeah, good to see you back racing. In terms of quali, that we started down a P9 in the end, so it wasn't exactly the best quali session for you.
No, to be honest, I'm not great at quali anyway. I've got
Mm.
better race pace than I have in quali. Um, and obviously when it's raining it makes it even worse, but quali was a weird one for me because I
Oh
wasn't doing
yeah, I
I
remember
wasn't
now.
doing too badly, but I had a
Mm.
little spin in sector 3 and I
Mm.
was just facing the wall and I was sort of on the grass with my wheels on the track, but I couldn't do anything, and I assumed I was ghosted, but then 30 seconds later Havoc Connor just smashed straight into me and I
Ah.
somehow got a penalty. So
But yeah, I remember now because I was thinking, oh yeah, you got five places, so you did actually qualify fourth. So, well, that sort of makes it even better in the end, I guess. The fact that you went from P4 to P9 in quali after the five place penalty, yet you still managed to recover. And I've got to say, your race pace tonight was tremendous.
yeah, thank you, mate. But that's it. I had decent race pace, and I had a great start as well, which helped. But I think most of the people at the front were on the softs, and obviously I started on the mediums, and I think that start after a few laps that started to help massively. And I think compared to Drac and some of the other guys at the top, I had better straight line speed. So sector 2, I wasn't great, but I think I got most of my overtakes done on the straight. Um, so it was quite handy to be fair. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
definitely.
wrong, mate.
Um, yeah. So, you obviously would have not quite seen. I don't know. Did you? I don't think you had seen Cannon's DNF, but
Yeah,
you would
I
have
did.
sort
Yeah,
of. Oh, you did. Oh no.
yeah, because I was just at that point. I was in P3 at that point, and I was just they were 2.5 seconds
Ah.
up the field, and I got it back down to about I don't know 1 second, just over 1 second, and
Oh
that's when
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw him spin out
I remember
on the
now.
funnel.
Because I remember seeing you at that stage thinking, wow, you're actually catching them. Yeah, I remember that. So at that stage, were you thinking like this is brilliant, or were you thinking, oh my god, what has happened?
Um, Yeah, to be fair, I thought actually this is brilliant because obviously I know together they've got great
Mm.
pace anyway, and obviously they were working with each other on the
Yeah,
in the DRS zone, so that could have killed me a little bit. So as soon as I saw that, I thought brilliant because once we got the safety car, I was unfortunate because I'd just gone past the pit lane, so I couldn't go in, so I had to wait. I think at that point, Drac actually got ahead when we came out. But I knew at that point, as soon as we got back to racing, I had the straight line speed, so I was quite content just waiting behind and waiting for the straights and making the overtake.
Mm.
So I was actually all right about it.
Yeah,
Um,
and in terms of the sort of final stint, I'll say, because the third stint really after the two safety cars happened, what were your sort of thoughts going into that?
I was a bit worried because I had a lot of wear on my hards towards the end, and obviously it kept saying that rain was coming in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So I was a little bit worried, but yeah, I mean, I had good race pace, but once I got to the front, I couldn't seem to get any further. You know, so I
Yeah.
was good at overtaking, but once I was in P1, I couldn't seem to break a massive gap between second, third, and fourth.
Mm.
So I was a little bit concerned, especially with Potwash's pace after the second safety car. I thought he might get me towards the end, but I was just lucky that the medium started to wear off a bit. And the battle he had with Drac helped me massively. And then, of
Yeah.
course, at that point, I can't remember how many laps. I think it was about 10 laps to go. And then Drac was on my tail the whole time. But again, I was fortunate that I had no issues in the race. Usually I'm quite unlucky where I'll DNF myself or I get kicked out of the game. That's happened quite a few times.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I had decent exit on the final corner, and that just kept me from Drac killing me. But I tell you what, he nearly got me at the end because from the last corner, I had my my battery on. I had it on overtake, and I didn't realise. So when I got to the line, all the energy was depleted, and I was like, honestly, I was quite lucky in
Another few meters, and that might not have been a
it.
win. Oh gosh.
So, so yeah, mate. But listen, it's good to be back. The last time I played the game was F1 22.
Wow.
So what was 6 races in? So yeah, literally from F1 22, I didn't touch the game. I've not played it since then,
Wow.
apart from coming
And
back.
I remember you on that game as well, obviously. I mean, obviously back racing in tier 2. So yeah, fair enough. I mean, but yeah, honestly, I'm happy for you, mate, getting the win on your sort of return. I know it's been a few races, but now let's see if you can push on. And I'm not saying push for the championship. It might be a little bit too late for that, but let's see if you can push up in the championship as well.
I think it'll be next season, mate. I think this is going to be my little getting back into
Ooh,
it, and then I'll be
there you
I'll
go.
be raring.
That's your big warning to all the drivers, and next season is boy knockouts. Yeah. Yes.
Legend.
But yeah, great stuff tonight, mate. Well deserved on that win.
And I can't wait to watch you back, mate, because your comms are fantastic. So
Ah, thank
gives
you,
me
mate.
some.
Yes, appreciate it, mate. But yeah, honestly, tremendous tonight, mate.
Top man, thank you.
You're welcome. So there you go. That was your race winner tonight, boy knockouts. We've spoken to Knockout, we've spoken to Drac, we've had Gandalf, we've had Parkour, and do we have anybody else we might have done? I may have forgotten by now. We certainly had 4, I know that much. But anyways, so that has been your tier 2 race. That has been the interviews completed as well. So there you go. That is all done and dusted. Right, in terms of what we've got coming up next then. So tomorrow, Tier 3. And we will be live. It will be a mystery track, 8 o'clock p.m. So watch out for that one. I may actually do the wheel on that because I don't think Parkour will be able to. So obviously, I don't know if Parkour is still listening or not. So if Parkour would like me to do the wheel, I am happy to do so. And that'll be like tomorrow evening, probably about 5 or 10 minutes just before the race. I'll end the stream and then Parkour can restart a stream. I think it'll be as simple as that, really. But that's tomorrow then. So mystery track Wednesday night, and then Friday night back to normal for me. Commentary 100% tier. Let's have a look where we are racing for the 100% tier this week. And it will be Monza. So there you go, mighty track for all the drivers. Straight line speed will be king at Monza. And then Saturday, 9 o'clock p.m., we head to Bahrain in the international tier. So watch out for that one. Back to tier 1 racing. And it will be held on Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. for the start of round 7 at the Circuit of the Americas in the United States. And Tier 2 next week, 8 o'clock PM next Tuesday, we head to Baku at the Azerbaijani Grand Prix. So, that is it then for tonight. Boy Knockout comes out on top as he fends off the Destroyer Drak charge to take 35 points here at Zandvoort. Thank you for watching. We have been UFRL. I have been UFRL F1 Viva. Thank you for watching and good night.